Good morning. What's going on, guys? I am actually out and about today. I'm at one of the local restaurants that I do social media for in my hometown. So, kind of on the road, but that's the nature of what I do. So, we got a book review today. This is week 3, and I'm 5 books in. I've been knocking out, if I finish a book early, I kind of knock out another book real quick just to get one on my list. This week we did Finance Your Own Business, and we did, I added a short little one, the Millionaire Booklet from Grant Cardone. One, because I love everything this guy has to say from Grant Cardone, and 2, I got done a little early and I wanted to squeeze one in. The Finance Your Own Business was great. We'll get to that. I got a little outline for you guys first. Just to recap my week and bring you guys up to speed what I did last week. So some of you know that I started my own company called Fragoza Media and Entertainment. We are currently working on revamping Fragoza.me, which is my website, to be Fragoza Media and Entertainment. That's going to be done in the next couple months. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm combining the acting stuff, the books, production assistants, weddings, live events, a bunch of different things that I do. It's going to be really easy to have that under one roof for me as far as managing the money that I make, and having it come and go from one spot is going to be way easier than doing it the way I've been doing it the last couple years. So we have that going on. We did a Honda commercial with Dwyer Productions as our first official operating day, which was Monday and Tuesday, so that was pretty awesome. So that's coming down the pipeline. But first, I kind of want to talk about process. This is super cool. One of my buddies, Joey, when we worked together, he used to talk about when we couldn't get our sentences out or we couldn't really talk fluidly, he'd talk about the cloud having us. And it was this make-believe, just like gray nonsense that would come over you, and you wouldn't be able to think of your vocabulary words. You wouldn't be able to... right now, the cloud has me. That's a good way to say it. Like, I can't really articulate what I'm trying to say. We'd say the cloud has you. One of the things that I got from reading as much as I am reading right now, or listening to and intaking as much information as I am intaking, I've felt the cloud slowly start to leave me. The most on top of my game I've ever felt is when I was getting my master's degree, and I'm starting to feel like that again. Just 3 weeks in taking in 5 books in 3 weeks and really just sucking in knowledge, that cloud seems to start coming off. And a lot of the books that I'm reading about success and about time management talk about that in another sense of, as you start really trying to gain knowledge, your brain really awakens and you start seeing different avenues, ways to make money. One of the cool things in the Millionaire Handbook that Grant Cardone said to do, one of the things that you need to do is you need to sit down and you need to think of, a lot of people don't do this, think of every possible way you could make $1 million. His example is, if I sold a $1 product to 1 million people, I'd have $1 million. If I sold a $2 product to 500,000 people, I'd have $1 million. And so on and so on and so on. And so he's just exercising his brain just to kind of get us out of the habit of thinking that like making money isn't possible. Upcoming next week, posting the videos that you're watching here. I'm going to try to get those onto YouTube, and then I still got that immigrant wilderness video that I want to post up onto YouTube, so I'll keep you guys in the loop as I start posting those videos. But let's kind of jump into the book of the week, which was Finance Your Own Business. If you have your own business, if you're thinking of starting your own business, this was one of the best reads. I probably should have read this before I quit my job to start my own business. It called me out on a lot of mistakes I made. One of the big ones was a quote in the first couple chapters was, dig your well when you don't need the water. Something I found out very, very quickly, that when I had a great job and I was making good, steady income, everybody wanted to loan me money. I could $20,000, $50,000 loan would have been no problem for me to just call the bank and say, hey, I need $20,000, $50,000. For what? They probably wouldn't even have cared because I was making good money, and they said, oh, you can make the payments. As soon as I quit my job, I had a business plan. My business plan was on point too. I went to school to write business plans, and everything looks good. I even had to the point where my Josh and the Sock Army book, we had 200 orders of books sitting there, and I had no product to give to the schools who had ordered the book. And so in my head, I'm thinking this is a no-brainer loan for a bank, right? Like, I already have 200 books in sales. They're going to get their money back right away. Won't even touch it. Won't look at it, won't touch it. They don't want anything to do with it. No one wants to loan you money when you need it. So one of the things that this book said that most businesses fail at is not having capital to do the things they need to do to operate. So dig your well when you don't need the money. Get a line of credit, get loans, get money in the bank before you actually need it. One of the big things that this book talked about was building your credit and really making your business credit huge. You should have a $50,000, $100,000 business credit before you even open up shop. And that's doable as long as you are slowly building that business while you still have your job. You're not trying to blow it out of the water, but you are trying to get credit, whether it's personal, whether it's business. Really get your credit good. That way, when you do hit a stumbling block like I did this last year, I needed $10,000 to fill orders for Josh and the Sock Army books, and that would have been no problem when I had a job. Without a job, they don't see orders as future income. They want to see money right now. So that was one of the biggest things I took from it. It had a lot of good stuff in finance your own business. Microlenders, I wasn't really familiar with the term microlenders. They are actually provided by the SBA, and if you go to sba.gov, you can find a list of microlenders in your area. Microlender is going to typically lend to a small business that has bad credit, that has just a business plan. So that's actually something that I still need to look into. This book also dived into how to use your 401ks and your Roth IRAs, how to set up corporations, and whether you want an LLC or just a corp or PL and all that stuff. I was semi-familiar with it, but to the full extent, I didn't have a great grasp of it. I have a better grasp of it now. Basically, your LLC is providing a veil, they would call it, right? The veil is going to protect your personal assets from your business assets. One of the biggest mistakes that companies will make when they set up their LLCs is they won't have their mandatory meetings that they need to have. So let's say I set up an LLC, which eventually I will do for Fragoza Media Entertainment. Even though I'm the only person who's working for the company, I still have to have meetings and document my meetings. That way, if I ever get sued, I can show that I followed all the federal guidelines to operate an LLC, which would protect my personal assets. Right now, I don't need an LLC because I don't have any personal assets. I don't think they're going to take the Yaris from me. So I'm good right there. I'm just going to operate under proprietary ownership for a while. Another really interesting thing for me, something that I'm not going to do, but I read a lot of real estate books too. The IRA, your IRA, which I do have, can be used to finance real estate as long as you have no hand in the real estate deal. So, for example, I could use my IRA money, right, to give to X company who buys and does real estate, but I can't manage the real estate. If I buy a house with it, I can't even go in and fix the faucet with it. I can't have anything. My hand cannot touch the real estate deal at all. It can only be used as money to start that. This was another big one, angels versus VC lenders. An angel lender is someone who is going to give you very quick, very fast money. Like, hey, I need $100,000 to get this product developed. That's an angel lender. Once the product's developed, it's going to take $5 million to really push it into the marketplace. That would be handled by a VC lender. The differences are angel lenders have vision. VC lenders, think of them as bureaucracies. Hey, we really like your company, but we don't take risk, so it's going to take us 6 months to really look into your company and make sure this is a great investment. You're thinking to yourself, it's a tech company, that's great. I gotta go now, because if we wait 6 months, someone's doing what I'm gonna do. So you would need an angel Microlender. I am not 100% sure where the names came from. I don't know if I skipped over that in the book, or I don't know if, and maybe while I was driving and listening to it, I just missed it. I just know the two phrases, angel versus VC lenders, seemed relatively important when it comes to you trying to get your business to the next level on a much bigger scale. Back to build credit, I just have that down here as another note, just to reemphasize, build your credit when you don't need it. Currently, I have all the money I need to operate Fragoza Media and Entertainment right now, probably for the next 8 months. And my goal in the next 3 or 4 months is to acquire more credit for my business, because there are some moves down the road that I'm going to need more credit for. We're going to change pace real quick. We're going to jump over to the Millionaire booklet. Grant Cardone is fantastic when it comes to motivation, when it comes to talking about money, growing your business, and basically just operating at, he calls it massive levels, sick levels of operation. I'm going to call one of my goals this month for the tour that we're setting up. I don't know if I touched on that. I think it might be coming up later on in my notes, but I set up with Awaken Worship. We're going to do a summer tour, and that's going to go from summer, May, we're going to go June, maybe June, July, and August, I think is what we're looking at. 3-month tour, myself, another band, and a couple solo artists in there too. I have to call 300 churches for that. So normally I'd say, you know what, I'm going to call 50 churches, but his 10x rule, no. It's going to take 10 times more activity than you think it's going to take to do anything. So I'm always 10xing everything that I do. So my goal is 300 churches to call and see if they'll let us come in and play and share our message, in which we should have no problem doing, getting 25, 30 churches out of that to say, yeah, we'd love to be a part of the tour. So I'm excited about that. One of the really cool stories that Grant Cardone told in this little booklet, it's a small booklet, the Millionaire booklet. He tells a story of when he was a little kid, and he had a quarter, and he was going to the store, and he's like super excited. He's going to the store, he's got his quarter, and on the way to the store, he drops his quarter in the storm drain, and his arms are too short to get it, and he like starts crying, tearing up, super sad that he lost his quarter. He went home and he told his dad, I lost my quarter. And his dad pulled him in and said, son, you need to be way more careful with money, right? And then his grandfather's in the room too, and his dad leaves the room, and his grandfather looks around and pulls him over, and he says, the problem is, it's not that you lost your quarter. The problem was you only had one quarter. And so, I mean, it goes back to a different book I love, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 2 different concepts of thinking about money. You need to be careful with money. No, that's not the problem. The problem is you only had one quarter. You need to accumulate money, not to be rich. If you want to be rich, you're missing the point. You're missing your why. Another great quote from this book: being in the middle class is selfish. Meaning, if you're in the middle class, you only have the ability to think about yourself. You got a house payment. You got kids that got to go to college. You got a car payment. You got to pay the water bill. That's middle class living. You have to only think about yourself. His philosophy is, listen, I have to get out of the middle class, not for me, not so I can be rich, but how am I supposed to help anybody if I'm only thinking about myself all the time? And so it's super cool book. The Millionaire booklet, pick that up. You can also pick up Sell or Be Sold from him, 10X Rule from him. If you're not first, you're last. Grant Cardone is just the man. I love reading him and listening to his stuff. All in all, both books, Finance Your Own Business, must buy. If you have your own business, you got to have it. You got to have it. You got to highlight it, go back to it. Really good tips for every aspect of your business. There was a lot of stuff in that was just so far over my head because my business isn't there yet and I'm not to that bridge. But this is one of those books that I'm going to keep around and highlight and keep referring back to help me carry on. Millionaire booklet, again, it's just another good one to have. 5 stars for both of these. They were fantastic. The weeks coming up to close out for today, I'm going to read right now I'm reading 0 to 1, which is written by the founders of PayPal. And it's a concept of In order to create something new, you can't copy what someone else has done. If I copy Starbucks, I'm going from 1 to 2. I took something and I made it better. But I need to go from nothing to 1, meaning I have to be the first one to create something. The next billionaire startup company isn't going to be an Apple. It isn't going to be a PayPal. It isn't going to be Microsoft. They're already done. It has to be something new. It isn't going to be Tesla. Tesla already did it. Sorry. So it's really, really cool. A great quote already from that book is, all Rhodes Scholars had a great future in their past. Education kills innovation. Super cool book. I'm looking forward to reviewing that. I'm like 5 chapters in. I'm probably going to hit up another book in there. I'm probably going to hit up The War of Art. It's a short enough book to where I can knock it out before next week. And then the following one, I'm going to do Profit Over People by Chomsky. This is from my buddy Daniel. He wanted me to read this. Guys, if you have books to suggest for me to read, because I'm going through books so rapidly, I want to hear what you're reading. I want you to comment on what I'm reading. Another one that one of my friends brought up to me is Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, or Sinek. I always say his name wrong. I'm going to read that one too. A lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. Last but not least, word of inspiration. Burn the ships. One of my buddies texted us, David Razzo texted me the other day. Burn the ships. I didn't know what he meant. Then he texts right after that, there is no retreat. There's only one way to ensure victory. Burn the ships. You get to the beach, you're storming the enemy's front lines, burn your ships. There's no turning back. There's no plan B. Burn the ships. You're there. Get the things you need to get done. This has been super fun, guys. I got next week coming at you hot. 5 books in. Only three weeks in on this year. I'm still shooting for 50, hopefully over 60 books this year. Having a blast doing it. Talk to you guys soon.